Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so the latest news is that the Dallas Mavericks are not looking to help Kyrie Irving in a sign and trade deal. That was how the words were put together in what it is that is being said out there. I think that means that they intend to re-sign him. I don't think anything other than that. I think they worded it a certain way because it's Kyrie Irving and the people who promote what they promote have a certain thing out for Kyrie Irving that we're very much aware of and have talked about for the last couple of years at length. And so this is yet another one of those jabs at his character, or rather jabs at his name, or however else you word that. They're just continuing to attack this guy. As always, nothing new. Same old same. This is how they treat their enemies. So, it is what it is. I don't actually think that this probably has anything to do with Mark Cuban. Really, this is just people behind the curtain getting a whiff of what it is that Mark Cuban's intentions is, and are molding it a certain way to continue to smash this guy's character into the ground. That's all I see there. And you see these type of things all the time, and it's just kind of irritating for a mind like mine, who's at a point where I really just kind of prefer not to have that type of thing molding my opinion of someone's character, or trying to sway my opinion into thinking that this is something I should look at a certain way when they don't word it that way for others at their leisure. So it's just it's a controversial thing that they do to rile people up. It's a controversial thing that they do to put Kyrie down, and that's kind of what I take from the story. As far as everything else, well, I mean, they're still gonna have to pay him. Somebody's gonna pay him for what his talent is. He doesn't have to open his mouth again. His talent speaks for itself, and it's worth investing in for a lot of teams. So I don't think they're gonna be able to blackball him like it seems they would like to, until his talent tells them that it's okay to do so. And that's the reality of what it is that I see there. They just so badly want to ostracize this guy from the league for being a version of different that they don't approve of. And it must grind their gears a great deal that he's been blessed with such a talent that they cannot deny. I know that's hard for them to absorb that, because a lot of times when they want to push people aside, they've propped them up as individuals who were not overly talented, but could definitely be marketed and controlled. And that's how they usually are able to do it. Most of the time they prop these people up in front of us. They're not overly gifted at what they do. They just want us to believe that they're gods because of the marketing schemes that they put around these people that make it as if there's nothing we can do but see them as great, when actually what they're putting out is thrown at us, deliberately thrown at us in a lot of cases. Well, when you run into guys like Kyrie Irving, that is not the case. The market and the marketing people, they cannot lie to the public about what it is that person is capable of. They can lie to you about what he's doing. They can lie to you, or they can tell you the truth about what he's feeling, or however that goes. They can display that. But once it comes to trying to make him worse on the basketball floor, well, that they just can't simulate. No matter how many things they write up to try to bash this guy's name, no matter how many lies or truths they tell us about this person, at the end of the day, he's still going to get out on the basketball court and cook everybody you're paying. So when it comes to that, it becomes a situation where they got to figure out how to make us feel however they want us to feel about this person, while that is still in place. Because once he's doesn't have any talent anymore, they can brush him aside, say he's nobody, kick him out of here, do him like they did Allen Iverson and so many other people that they just didn't like that much. When the talent wanes, then they can just brush him aside and treat him like dirt. But when the talent is still there and they're still electrifying the crowd, and the Most High is still allowing them to do stuff that we can't even understand as we look at it, which is what Kyrie does when he dribbles and lays the ball up in the way that he does, it makes for a very funny thing for me to look at, in regards to seeing them try to make us hate that person or dislike that person, or make us feel like that person shouldn't be somebody we want on our team, and they could still do the things that he can do. It's like a big old FU from the cosmos to the media, so to speak, and those who don't want to see this guy succeed, or want this guy to be bad at what he does very badly, so that what they're doing can be successful in what it is that I see there. So that's my interpretation of the hate. that I think Kyrie and many other athletes and entertainers and others receive when they don't play ball, so to speak, with the people behind the curtain, as I like to call them, whoever that is that wants you to align with their views and their point of view and be who it is they want to promote to us so that we can be aligned with whatever the agenda is. If you tamper with that or if you mess with that, you best believe you're going to get on their bad side and they're going to Kanye you, they're going to Kyrie you, they're going to whoever else, R. Kelly you, whatever the heck it is, whether it's justifiable or not, they're going to smear your name to the ground and do everything they can to discredit what it is that you bring to the table. So that is just yet another small pin poke at Kyrie Irving in that regard, in a flurry of a million pokes. If you can kind of get the picture of what I'm saying. They don't do this once, they do this 100 times to that same person, and the cumulative effort of all of these different things that they do to try to make you see this person a certain way is supposed to ultimately mold your opinion about them and make you look at them like this, as opposed to look at them at face value. So that's what it is, man. They've been doing this all my life. I've been watching them do this to people all my life. You know, it is what it is. Sometimes they do it and I think it's racially motivated. Other times it's just done because they didn't piss somebody off. you didn't slept with the wrong guy's daughter or something like that, like literally, and then you get this type of energy applied to your name. And hopefully, for the sake of the people behind the curtain, you're not that good at what you do, so they can just wipe you away. But when you're Kanye and you're Kyrie, it doesn't work that way. They end up needing you in the end, and that's the beauty of the circumstance. So that's kind of how I see it, man. I just look up and I don't envy people like that. Because when you're talented as they are, and you have the notoriety and the success that you want, that you're ultimately supposed to be getting for your talent, then you got to deal with this bullcrap when you're a little different. And so it just is what it is, man. I think Kyrie Irving has been unapologetic in his positioning. Sometimes I didn't agree with him, and I don't know that, I would have probably made some of the same decisions that would have ultimately garnered me the same enemies, I don't believe. But at the same time, it's like you got to be who you are. And when you wake up to maybe certain things that you've done that maybe people didn't like, maybe you realize you could have taken it a different route, but it's too late. And now you got to deal with the consequences of that. And I think that's kind of what Kyrie's dealing with. Back in his Cleveland days and his Boston days, he was unapologetic. He was brash in his opinions, sometimes inaccurate maybe. And I just think the whole aspect of him being unapologetic and brown, black, it don't sit well with a lot of people who want you to play ball with them, so to speak, especially when you're talking about, certain things that Kyrie did, stepping away from the team at his own leisure, just the whole stepping on the lucky eye thing. I think that really kind of did it a little bit, the whole leaving Cleveland thing. And I don't know how the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers felt about that whole thing, but we clearly saw how much vitriol he had toward LeBron. I'd imagine he wasn't too pleased with Kai either, so we don't know how much of that plays into what we're seeing. Of course, Josiah in that circumstance, that was real ugly. Clearly, Kyrie had issues there alone, and then from there, on top of that, we're talking about the Hebrews to Negroes circumstance that didn't help. A few other things that he may have said in the past that are not coming to mind, but just controversial stuff. Just ultimately made Kyrie someone easy to target as it pertains to the people behind the curtain. And once you start being unapologetic on top of all of it, it starts swaying others, and that's when you start doing the job that they feel is theirs to do. They the only ones supposed to be swaying others. We ain't supposed to be thinking about nothing other than what it is that they want us thinking about. I was sitting up watching Diddy this morning, and I believe Carisha going into the mall buying all types of stuff. It's like they was, and Diddy was acting like he was so stressed because he had spent God knows how many thousands of dollars on these Chanel bags and all of that. I'm just looking at this like these are lifestyles that only a few percentage of people can actually aspire to receive. The rest of us are going to run ourselves into the ground or put ourselves in jail trying to get into those situations, or end up tearing apart our families because our women, our lives are not going to be able to receive that type of lifestyle, that soft life mentality that's ultimately being pushed around right now. It's always something new that they try to throw. This last season it was main character, this season is soft life. Trust me when I tell you all this stuff is demonic. It's supposed to make you more materialistic and ultimately more susceptible to what it is that the people behind the curtain want you to think. You're too materialistic, you're black, you're ultimately going to jail or going to be in a broken family situation or ultimately trying to go after money as to what you're not thinking about the spirit, which is what's most important for you since you're going through so many hard times in this pressure cooker that is America. The last thing you need to be thinking about is things that'll pull you away from God, but things that'll help you cope with what it is that's ultimately against you as a black person. So that is what I know. That is the opposite of what they want us to think. That these are the things that Kyrie and Kanye are trying to help us understand in their own ways. People behind the curtain don't really want us thinking like that. They more so want us thinking like Diddy and Carisha. I got enough money, but it ain't never enough money. Because even if I got enough money, I'm still going to stress myself out trying to keep this woman happy. And she's going to be happy because her life is soft, living off of me in the pressure cooker that is America, as to which I'm adhering to everything that the people behind the curtain want me to adhere to so that I can continue to make them rich, so that they continue to keep me rich, so that I can continue to make her happy, so that I can continue to be stressed. This is what they want me to aspire to when I look at this mess. And I tell you the truth. I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't aspire to that. I've listened to enough Kyries and Kanyes and Martin Luther Kings and Malcolm X's and my mom and everybody else to tell me that there's substance in the world that I don't have to aspire to, that's attached to simply the ideas that they want me to think about who I am and where I'm at. I am a black man in America. There are opportunities for me to reach the highest supreme orders. I can be president. I can be anything I want to be. But at the same time, I also have to understand that there is a truth in this country that I have to adhere to, and that is I don't know who I am while here. I don't know. I can reach the highest peak and still will not know who I am. I have to define that for myself as a black person because the history has been removed. So when that is the case for either myself or my brethren, regardless of whether the fact I have my information, maybe I'm from another part of the world, but I'm black, so I know who my people are. It doesn't matter because your brother next to you don't know who he is, and that is the point. It ain't about you. It's about all of us, and all of us, the sum of who we are, don't know who the hell we are, and that is the point. So they want us to think and define who we are. We are money makers. We are drug dealers. We are whatever the hell they want us to be. Pastors, basketball players, anything other than individuals looking to find spiritual truth and understanding while maintaining the family structure that is in place for us to benefit from. These things are not promoted to us, so therefore we never actually reach where we need to reach in order to close the wealth gap, because you need a family structure in order to pour into it the investment necessary to be the best version of yourself you can be throughout the course of several generations, while different things are just molded up against you in regards to people who have that foundations versus you who does not. So these are things that they got us thinking about. We're going to throw our money at stuff that's going to ultimately pour into their family structures, pour into their businesses to make them generationally more wealthy, while we continue to satisfy our temporary need to live up to the mess that isn't even real. Why? Because you are not certain of who you are while you're paying for all that. You are buying into stuff. You are paying into people's family structures, who they know who they are, they know who they've been, they know where their money's supposed to go. You don't have a destination for your money. You're giving them your money, and you're taking back things, art pieces, things that go on your body that go out of style in a matter of months, years, maybe even weeks. These are the type of things that we're spending generational wealth on, and that money is not realized in our situation, and the guises of our minds having us thinking that we need to live up to certain standards that are not even real, because the people who are setting those standards are not living up to those standards themselves. They don't buy those bags, they don't buy those shoes, they ain't buying them cars. They are selling them to you, and they're taking that money and they're reinvesting it into the generational ultimate education and wealth of their families. So this is what I'm telling you. While we're sitting up here looking at shiny objects, they're over there molding them and training themselves not to be distracted by them. This is why I speak the way that I do, because I'm not confused by that at all. As I sit here and I watch all these celebrities who are living the flashy life, they don't ask themselves for a second why the hell that life is in place for us to try to benefit from, when they know damn well we ain't reaching it. We're not getting there. We don't have a path to that life. If anything, we got a bunch of doors in the way of us ever getting to that place based on the things that you do that keep our esteem lower, as to think that we can't reach it, or that we have to make bad decisions in order to reach it, thus stopping us from ever doing anything entirely. This is what they want us doing. And I would tell Carisha, Diddy, or anybody else that you are maintaining this nonsense by living this way and allowing us to see this stuff without any antithesis to what otherwise should be there, which is the coping mechanism and a coping space for those who are never to reach the spaces that you are trying to display on that screen as I look at it. We can't get there. We can't get there. Some of us are being told that we are going to get there, never will. And we're going to do everything we can to put ourselves in a position to get there. And as a result, we will find ourselves in jail or in hell. Those are the only two places we're going to go and trying to live up to the lifestyle that you show. There's no path to NBA money for a lot of us. There's no path to entertainment money. And if we were to try to go down that path, a lot of us don't have the talent to even maintain what it is that we get. So we will lose it as soon as we piss them off. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's only a few Kyries and Kanyes and people who actually have that talent. When they tell you you can do it, they're also telling you that they're in control of how much you can do while you get there. This is what I understand. And that's why I would tell anybody at all, to maintain your spiritual strength, maintain your understanding of who you are, and do not make money your God. I don't give a damn where you're from or how you coming. Do not make money your God. The moment you do that, you become susceptible to spiritual energy that otherwise you will believe is not there if you listen to those in place telling you about it. They'll say that spiritual energy is not necessary, but when you're in that dark corner and you don't have nothing, when you've lost it all, the only thing that you have to derive from, the only thing that's going to keep you from wanting to jump off that building or jump into those drugs or jump into that bad situation that's going to get you thrown in jail is to have a spiritual energy that comes from the great antithesis of believing all of that bullshit. You got to know that you can make it without that money. You got to know that you can keep your family together if y'all working a 9 to 5. You got to be able to choose the right woman to be able to help you elevate yourself out of that 9 to 5, or who won't be so comfortable as to stay in that space with you while you live in mediocrity. But what you can't do is make God the money, or God the status, or someone else's thoughts or opinions of you ultimately what your ultimate goal is. Or even more so for a lot of people, trying to defy those haters who don't believe in you, and therefore you're going after all kinds of evil nonsense to try to prove them wrong. All of that's demonic. All of that's meant for your destruction. All of that is meant to send you into a space where you're useless to the people you love the most. This is what I know. There's no real wealth for people who can't keep it. If you're doing things to get your money that's only going to allow you to have the money for 5 minutes and going to take it all from you, your kids will not benefit from it. You are waiting for the worst to happen while you're sitting there enjoying it. They are coming, they're paying attention, they're going to take it. Like, these are things you got to understand. You are in a space where the walls are closing in on you. So while you're trying to aspire to be wealthy, you better put yourself in a position to understand what it takes to keep it. And if you're not putting yourself in a position to keep it, then you're actually not going after it all. You're just doing the work it takes to get it. And then from there will fall as soon as the work is done. That is not a path for a black person. That is not a path for a brown person. That is not a path for somebody who's been in poverty for generations, who's finally found a way out of it. That is not how you keep it. That is not how you keep yourself from going back to broke. These are things I understand from within my space. A lot of us be striving and aspiring to do so much, and we still lack faith. So we end up finding ourselves bottoming out at the feet of our damn ambition. We try so hard to get what it is that we want that we forget to please the one who created us. We forget that he's there in control of things. We convince ourselves that we're in control of things and that we can dabble with things we have no business dabbling in, and we let ourselves get lost, and then we allow ourselves to herd others into the direction that we are lost in, and live our whole lives thinking we're certain and found, like you holding a compass that's actually working. The thing is pointed in the wrong direction, leading other people off a cliff. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. This is why I've done the therapy sessions I've done. This is why I've sat in the spaces I've sat in the way that I have. It's because this was a part of the thinking that I had going on. I wanted to help provide some understanding that I see there, that this middleman is in place, always looking to try to destroy either somebody else's opinion of us or our opinion of someone else. But it's always going to be something in place to keep us thinking distraction, hatred, conflict, something that's going to keep us from just being at peace and forgiving and working together and finding solutions for problems that we both share at the same damn time. These are things that I know for a fact that we can do something about if we just rearrange the way that we think, our minds, if we just rearrange some of the stuff that we're going after while maintaining the good stuff that comes with what it is that we're doing. Our ambition is good so long as it's not overly saturated in our ego. Our ambition is good so as long as it's not overly saturated in selfishness. And that's it, because for everything you've ever wanted, someone was going to have to be kind enough to give it to you. So when it's your time to give, I would imagine that would be what is needed. So this is where it comes from me. This is it. This is where all this is taking me. This is where my mind goes when I think about just how intent they are at placing a negative on a person's name, and what put us in a position to even have them want to put that negative on their name. It's because they start thinking like this, or start sparking people to think like this. Rather, they start putting seeds out there that make people think, you know what, maybe there's a little more to this consumerism money thing. Maybe there's a little more to this stress all day, work 9 to 5 thing, come home and try to live my life off vices thing. There's a little more to it, ain't it? I'm not just waiting for something bad or something to manifest from hard work. There's more to it than that. There is some favor in place. There is some things to think about that I'm not thinking about, that I need to be cognizant that I'm not thinking about, so that I could put forth prayer toward thinking about, even if the details are not in my mind. Like, these are the type of things that you will do if you're spiritually inclined. You can help circumstances that you think you have nothing, absolutely no power over. Just by not thinking negatively and turning your mindset to prayer, you will attach yourself to the beauty of the materialization of things, the materialization of things. You will be then a builder in your spirit. You will then be thinking about how to help others. I think the best thing that's happened to me in regards to having difficult times is redirecting my mind to the idea that others are going through the same thing I'm going through, and there would be no other way otherwise to put my mindset in those circumstances that I'm in, to then care enough to pray for someone else who's going through the same thing, if not for me going through it and thinking about it in my own selfish mindset. I have to then go through it in order to realize, somebody else is suffering this. This needs prayer. This needs prayer for others, not just for me because I'm going through it, but because the Lord put it in my heart to finally think about this damn thing. I would not have thought about this, nor prayed for anyone going through it, if not for the experience in place. This is the beauty of what the Lord has done for me in regards to the difficulty of what I'm going through. Because my relationship with God is in a space of strength, now I'm thinking about every single body who's going through what I'm going through. Now I'm thinking about every single body I can help with my voice in regards to feeling the pain that I'm feeling, instead of running from it and turning to those vices and turning to those ambitious tactics that are ultimately going to turn me into a worse human being, or a dead human being, or an incarcerated human being. I start thinking about how I can pray toward helping not only myself through these circumstances, but how to fathom other circumstances for which to put forth prayer to better what it is that ultimately we're in, which is a pressure cooker. It is America. We need to be praying about everything we can fathom. And if you're going through something unique, that gives you the opportunity to pray about it for someone else. We need you to. And I don't care what religion you are. Don't let the separation of religions allow you to think that your point of view is not a valuable one in regards to what we're talking about. If you pray for the betterment of circumstances, if you are a builder spiritually, then we need, all of us, every generation ahead needs your prayers. We are living off of the prayers of our ancestors, and off the prayers of the ancestors of those who were loving around us. If we didn't have loving ancestors, we are surviving off of the prayers of those who prayed around those who didn't pray. This is what I know. I benefit from prayers that were prayed generations ago. So if we're going to get it right for our kids and our grandkids and the kids after that, we need to not be so shallow in our nature that we forget to pray. That we forget to pray for those who have nothing to do with us. That we forget to pray for future generations who will then help take care of us when we are no longer able to take care of ourselves as older people. These are the things that we need to start thinking about. While we're rushing around acting like spiritual energy does not exist, being absolutely and spiritually bankrupt, thinking that we're going to fill our lives with things. Things do not fill your lives with anything other than clutter. That's it, clutter. Less space, more things. I kid you not. I was looking at Floyd Mayweather talking about his TVs. I got a big TV over here. I got a big TV over here. Floyd, I heard the sarcasm in your voice. I heard it. You were essentially telling my spirit that them TVs didn't mean a damn thing to you. I speak that language like I speak English, brother. I picked up on that. His greatest things that he has, the greatest stuff that's in his life are not things. His children, his grandchildren are the best things Floyd Mayweather has. If he really wants to impress people, you show us that little boy who keeps punching every morning. Young boy's little boy is the best thing you got. His little boy is the best thing because he's the one that's going to carry on your legacy. He is the true jewel of your life. He is the true thing that's going to make all of us understand how important you are. It's your legacy in those people. I would tell Puffy the same thing. It's in your sons. It's in love. It's in your daughter. That is your legacy, not this music, not all the stuff that you're throwing at this lady, not all the dance moves, none of that. is your legacy, because it's going to be the Combses that are here 50 years from now, 100 years from now, that carry on your legacy, that may not be famous but still live. They are the ones that are really going to be the beneficiary of the things that I'm talking about, the prayers that I'm praying. Birkin bags and all that stuff, that's artwork, bro. That stuff is going to deteriorate and be in the ocean in no time. None of that holds no value. What holds value is the lessons that we learn, and how not to relay the same nonsense to our children that was relayed to us through the pain that we suffered and the pain that was suffered by our ancestors. We need to not press forward the same wars that led to the same trauma, that led to the same callousness. We need to start doing things differently and engaging in better energy, because we know better. We simply know better. And there's an entity in place that doesn't want us to do better because they don't care better. They want things to stay the way they are because they can control them that way, by way of bad energy and confusion and bad actions, amongst others. They can keep in place the functionality of their bullcrap. And it is time for all of it to deteriorate, because the world itself is deteriorating. If we don't come together to be a lot better at being human, we are not going to be able to handle the deterioration of our world as generations tumble forward, and the damage that we're doing to this world continues to damage to continue as it does. We shun people like little Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is. We shun all these people, the guys who were sitting in the water in Italy with the, I don't know how to describe exactly what they did, but they went into a huge monument area where it's like a body of water and a bunch of sacred, art forms and stones, and they got in there and they took black asphalt and just basically put it in the water in the name of going against fossil fuel usage or something of that nature. A lot more smart than I am, but the point is, we shun people like this who go around doing stuff like that, and we tell them they're destroying things that matter to us, but we don't realize they're trying to save our children, our great-grandchildren, all that from temperatures that we don't know, cold temperatures, hot temperatures that we are not going to experience. 150 degree weather, 160 degree weather, minus 100 degree weather. The type of stuff that you cannot survive are the type of stuff they're trying to keep us from having to experience. I mean, that's what I understand. So it's like, even though I'm not privy to the knowledge that would help me understand exactly what we're talking about here as it pertains to the details of what's going on, I know enough to know that these are the directions we need to go in. And if we don't get our heads right, where we're still running around falling over money that's decreasing in value by the second, falling over things that ain't gonna be even style for the next 20 minutes, putting augmentations on our body that's not even gonna look right when we're older, stuff that's gonna have you looking like an ant or a plant or something 25 years from now. We just need to stop throwing money at stuff, stop letting people who worship money tell us what spiritual energy should be applied to what. Love no damn money, love no cars. That stuff doesn't love you back. You may die in that car. That car don't love you. So these are the type of things we need to understand, man. We shun the people that love them, shun the people that would protect the people we love the most. I always talk about this. Who's watching over your child when you're not there? Who's watching over your mother when you're not there? The type of energy that you put out when you're not thinking nothing of that energy will be the determining factor of whether or not someone will have that loyalty to you or to the people that you love when you're not around. It's called applying honor to your circumstance, so that people will have respect for you, so that people will want to see people successful in your family, so that people will want to see the people that you rock with okay. And we're too busy thinking about the haters. We're already, all prepared for the war that we're in. We're looking at, got a Glock, we got our guns, we got all these different things to protect us from the energy that's ultimately coming by default because we're going to be this way. But what if we're just not this way? What if you're not welcoming that energy to begin with? Maybe you need all that stuff to defend yourself from random whatever, but you're not welcoming it, so it's less likely to come your way. When I sit up and say, I got all the haters hate me, everybody hate me, nobody like me, nobody messing with me, all this stuff, look at all the people saying they hate me, and I got this on my face. Now when I turn this face to somebody else, you know what they're going to see? That. That's all I'm giving them. Yes, I'm reacting to the world that's coming at me, but all I'm showing, at some point in time, you got to realize it's this that makes it so that you have to defend yourself in the first place. If you had your energy right, if your spirit was on peace, it would be less likely that any of those energies would even want you. They come after energies that want them a lot of the time. People say you live by the gun, you die by the gun. Yes, you going to welcome that energy. You go out, you being brash and braggadocious and all that. Yes, you're going to ask for certain energy to come with it. But if I'm not, if I'm humble, maybe I still get that energy, but it's much less likely it's going to be attracted to me. Much less likely it's going to come my way. So these are the things we talk about, man. And I encourage everybody, be yourself, but understand that if you're engaging in the wrong energy, you're going to have to pay for it on the back end. That day will come. And when it comes, it's going to suck, and you're going to want some relief. You're going to want some grace. You're going to be praying to God. You're going to be going to your faith. You're going to be doing all types of stuff. Try to get yourself to feel better, when the only way you were ever going to feel better is to not engage in that type of nonsense in the first place. To get this part right the first time. Choose not to be evil today. Choose not to be a jerk today. Choose not to put yourself in a position to hurt somebody today, so that you don't deserve what comes with that, so that you have to pay for it on the back end with your soul, or with your life, or with your circumstances, or with generational curses that fall on the heads of your kids and grandkids. Stop letting it happen, man. Pray the prayers necessary to protect them so that they can have the favor necessary to get them through the life that they're in. It's going to be 10 times more coming at them, especially if we don't stop it. It's going to be 10 times more sexuality in their phones. It's going to be 10 times more distraction and stuff like that. It's going to be 10 times more shiny objects that are there, and weird cultures that ultimately warp their mind and make them feel like they shouldn't love themselves but should love somebody else more so. These are the type of things. That I know are going to be in place to tempt us, our generations of forward, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids. They're going to tempt them 10 times harder than they tempted us. They're going to throw more hell at them and throw more creative, manipulative tactics to confuse their mind and confuse the way they view themselves at them than they did at us. It's just going to get worse if we don't do something about it. And that's why I'm doing something about it. I'm taking my voice, I'm taking my frustrations, I'm taking my pain, I'm taking my mental illness and everything that I got, and I'm putting it here. I'm putting it in this camera. I'm giving you all what's real to me. I'm letting it all stay where it is, because I'm going to try my best to start the process of stopping some of this agreed upon bad and destructive energy that is pointed in the direction of the confused for them to benefit from when there's no benefit from it at all. So that's what I have to say. That is my therapy session. I hope that it did some good. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.